say A, and that's your final answer?
Yes, it is. And look up hypocrisy, and you're going to find the left pictured under those headings. And it is a very disturbing situation. Let's start with the basics. Democracy is not compatible with violence. The idea of democracy is we have fair elections, and that is how we develop and change and advance our government. We do not have violence. Violence, whether it is from the left or the right, is wrong. Now, what I find entertaining is we have had a year where we have had Portland, Oregon burned night after night after night, Seattle, Minneapolis. Where's the condemnation from the left? Now, then there is a horrible incident, an absolutely horrible incident at the nation's capital. 5 dead at last count, including one of the brave police officers who worked for the Capitol Police. And I've done a Failing America. I'm not going to repeat that, talking about the failure of the Capitol Police Department to properly prepare for what was expected to be a large protest. But what I found particularly interesting is that washed up former actor, former governor Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out in the last couple of days and condemns what happened in Washington. And I find this fascinating. Where was he all of last year when the things out there on the West Coast where he is, no protests, no problems and all that? Plus, isn't it a little especially it's an special brand of hypocrisy for a guy who's made his fortune and made his visibility by making films full of senseless violence, especially the films that he has made since he left the governor's mansion have been senseless, pointless, and extreme violence. And he's going to tell the rest of the country about, oh my gosh, gee, things are really bad. Those Republicans are promoting violence. I'm sorry, this guy has zero credibility to make such ridiculous statements. Now let's take a look at what Trump actually said. He said to these supporters that were gathered that morning of January 6th, peacefully and patriotically make your voices be heard. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices be heard. Those are Trump's words. And it's been blown all out of proportion. It's been pretty ridiculous. So we have Nancy Pelosi, as I referred to her, Miss Lobotomy. My theory is during one of her many facelifts, remember she's 80 years old and looks 90, but she has had apparently a number of facelifts, is that she was lobotomized during some of those facelifts because she's just a whack job. And she's telling Mike Pence that he needs to invoke the 25th Amendment and get the cabinet to throw out Donald Trump because of what happened in Washington. And my response is, if we're going to start throwing crazy people out of Washington, I think we need Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to be on the front of that list. So let's be real and let's stop the hypocrisy and focus on making America a better place. So regarding impeachment, they're threatening if Pence doesn't bring in the 25th Amendment, that they want to impeach Trump a second time. And of course, we all know what a horrendous waste of American taxpayer resources the first ridiculous impeachment was. This one is even more ridiculous since it can't happen before Trump leaves office. And Alan Dershowitz, who is certainly no conservative voice out of Harvard University, emeritus professor up there, said the Constitution doesn't even provide for impeachment for a former president. So at the same time, I say, go ahead, let's bring that impeachment on, because my theory on this is as long as these whack jobs and con artists in Washington are focused on a pointless mission of impeachment, hopefully they won't do more damage to the country by passing ridiculous leftist propaganda-driven legislation. So let's see what happens. But again, I'm not overly concerned about an impeachment. And I do think, however, that America needs to be consistent in condemning all violence.